Good. We're all good. And hey, you caught us as we were in the middle of talking. This is Janine Bolin, and I am here today with a lovely lady from Florida by the name of Sabrina Protic. And she has come up with this amazing book called Growing Ageless. And one of the things that we love about her is the fact that she has invited me into many of her groups. She is an empowering icon. She has communities like nobody's business. And so if you are a writer who wants to know why should I write and how do I build a community and all that, you can ask Sabrina to kind of give you some pointers on how to build your own platform and that sort of thing. But we're going to have her talk to us today about her book. And Sabrina, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Janine. You are such a breath of fresh air. From day one when I met Janine, it was all smiles and all support. Talk about empowerment. This is the person you want to connect with. So I actually feel blessed to be a part of your show and your listeners. So thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor.
Oh, well, thank you. So I would love for you to share, like you've done with me, I'd like you to share with not only your book and the journey that you had with writing, but a lot of writers don't understand that while they're writing the book and when they have those moments where the book may not be going well, there are things that they can do that will still support the book, but yet build the community so that when the book is released, they have an audience that is sitting there ready for them. And so if you don't mind talking to us a little bit about your platform and how you wrote your book, but then also the community building, if you could kind of share that journey a little bit.
Sure. I'd actually love to do that. And actually, you know, you've heard the thing, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm still trying to figure that out, and I'll tell you why. I am a big proponent of empowerment, especially women's empowerment. So about 4 years ago, I launched a community called Women's Entrepreneurial Empowerment, or WE. And it was all about building and supporting other women and giving them a platform based on my journey that brought me to writing the book. Well, in this journey of supporting other women, I locked arms with a publisher, and I was telling this publisher about my story. And she says, "You should write a book." And I thought, "Ooh, you know, I want to write a book, but that's not going to happen now." And she said, "You have such a powerful story, and you are about empowerment. Your journey brought you here. Why not share that with other women?" And I thought, "Are you talking to me? I'm going to write a book?" "Sure, you can do it." And I says, "No, I can't." They said, "Yes, you can. You can do it." So we met, and they said, "Just tell us your story." And sharing my story about this major life change that I had gone through. Notice I had gone through. Now I was on the other side of it. And I was sharing the journey, my steps, and everything that I took to get out of this really dark period in my life. And the obvious thing is, why would you keep that to yourself? Why wouldn't you share that with other women so that they can find the steps to come out of that? Because so often that happens, and you're in this thing, like right now, we're all in this thing right now, current events, and we're trying to figure out how to get out of it. Well, I imagine some of us are writing our stories right now. And if you're not, you should be. This is a perfect book time. This is the perfect time to journal what you are going through, your experiences in your life. And some of us have already been impacted significantly with what's going on in the world today. Income, stock market, family, job loss, you name it, health, wellness, we've all been impacted. You should be writing your story. So my story had really been written. I just needed to ink it. I needed to put it in print. So when I say which came first, the chicken or the egg, it was forming the Women's Empowerment Organization that empowered me to get out of that situation. But it was the situation, the women's empowerment, that encouraged me to write the book. So I want to say both of those things had to happen for me to write this book down. So we came up with a name, Growing Ageless. Well, that when people hear that, they think, what are you talking about, getting older? Growing Ageless, what is that? Is that some kind of anti-aging pill? No, what that signified for me in my life and all of you is there is no certain time period in your life where you give up, where the road has stopped. You're at the end of the road, buddy. That's it. It does not matter. So I'm saying there are no markers in our lives. We don't stop over, oh, you're 21, this is a rite of passage. Well, that's just the beginning. You're 30, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60. there are no benchmarks in our life that says at this point in our life, you cease doing this, you stop doing that, your life's over. Gone through a divorce, you're done. Gone through a major life change, you're done. You know, for some women, breast cancer, let's say they've gone through a major thing where their physical bodies have changed. Does that mean their life is over? No. Does that mean they stop wearing things like this? No. So it was my major life change, Janine, and the journey that I took to breathe again, and not only me to breathe again, but for other women to breathe and find excitement, exhilaration, and life. I mean, I think you know women can relate to that, right?
Just a
As
little
being a woman.
Just
Well,
a
sure,
little
all
bit.
of us. All of us,
Yeah.
men or women. I mean, who hasn't gone through something? I would say certainly by the time you're in your mid-30s, you lost someone, a loved one, or you've had a major job change. Maybe you've lost income, started a business, and maybe that didn't go well. You know, something in your life has happened where you don't know what to do. And for me, when I went through my major life change, which was a divorce, now single mom with 2 kids, the statistic, we've all heard of that, you know, divorced woman with 2 kids and a minivan and a dog. I had all of those. I fit the criteria really well. I thought, this is it. So I secluded myself. I pretty much became a recluse, and I wore black every single day of my life for about 3 years. And I didn't realize it was because that's how I felt. I felt dark. I felt old. I felt unwanted. I felt ugly. And I just thought, nobody's going to want me. And I have nothing to contribute to society other than just raising these children. And I found out just the opposite. And so my book outlines what I did to get back to here, to becoming an author, to having a network of hundreds of women and men that recognize that I'm here to support and empower. And as an author, the Women's Entrepreneur Group, I have an online anti-aging business, and recently a certified life coach, which was part of the journey of writing the book, is becoming that. Learning how to officially help people beyond just the exterior, but the mindset, because that's what life coaching is changing a mindset. And so we have to get into here before the other things can take place. I'm excited about all of that.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the part that is so exciting, is when an author finally takes the book, which is basically themselves, and then they hand it out to society. It's terrifying. You know, I understand why that is terrifying to people. So what would be your recommendations for a lot of these writers where they are writing their first book? You know, the levels of fear that they have to go through. So what do you say to them regarding slowly, stepwise going through that process?
You know, that's a really good question. I mentioned something earlier, and I want to get back to that. Journaling. You start journaling. If you haven't already, I've run into some people that said, oh, I wrote my book years ago. They really haven't written the book, but they have a journal that's fit. For me, I was able to mentally go back. And when I was writing my book, I'm giving you the secrets right now to me writing my book. As I started each chapter, and I had a theme. So when you write a book, we break it up in chapters. It's just like an outline. I broke it up in chapters, and then I would close my eyes and I would sit back and I would relive that journey. And I started chronicling that journey in my mind, those things that happened. And I started writing those things down. And then I formed sentences, and I was able to build that chapter based on those real life events that had happened to me. So what I want to say is, if you haven't already started journaling, start journaling. And you can even put subtitles on those. Rode my bike down a mountain, crashed and burned. But there are a lot of things that led up to you riding your bike down the mountain and crashing and burning that could be pretty significant. And so start doing that. And I'm telling you, right now, the time period that we live in, there are going to be movies made. There's stories, there are things that are unraveling right now. This is a perfect time, if you're thinking about writing a book, to write it now, because your experiences now are going to be eye openers for people 2 and 3 years down the road. How did you survive this? what happened within the units of your family. And in your case, as a financial first responder, what happened, with the people's lives that you touched, and some of the magnificent stories that are going to come out of this, how people recovered. So this is the time now for you, if you're in that author mode, to start journaling these things, savoring some things and keeping some things, even timelines of when these things happen. And I think that's a perfect start to your listeners becoming authors. And then there's so many choices. You self-publish, you can use an author. There are many different levels of the way you're going to get your book out there, but it's got to start with your personal story first.
It's all about getting those words on the page. And until that happens, it's just imagination, even if they're real life examples, right? And so thank you for your time today, Sabrina. I apologize, we have to cut it short, but she is a very engaged woman. She has another interview right behind this. And so I'm watching the clock for her because she asked me to. Yes, if her book is Growing Ageless with Sabrina Protic. And please also check out the other aspects of her life, her online business, and other aspects that she can support you, not only as an author, but also as a life coach. Thank you for your time today, dear. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Janine. Love you all. Bye.
Love you. Bye.